The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, October 8, 2023. The fighting around Velyka Novosilka, west of the Donetsk town of Vuhledar, has quieted significantly over the past month after reaching intense levels in June and July 2023. Ukraine likely regained control of at least 125 square kilometers in the area this summer, according to conservative estimates. The Ukrainian counteroffensive here has forced Russia to commit significant manpower and resources. Elements of Russia's 36th and 5th Combined Arms Armies have been tied down defending against further Ukrainian advances instead of reinforcing struggling fronts. Additionally, multiple Russian airborne units have been drawn into the fighting. While the front has stabilized recently, Russian forces remain dug in and on the defensive to prevent further Ukrainian gains. It is improbable Russia will reduce its troop levels here over the next 6 weeks, given the strategic importance of this axis and the threat of new Ukrainian offensives. Ukraine Armed Forces General Staff Update. Day 592 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine continues with 33 engagements reported. Russia conducted 6 airstrikes and 20 multiple launch rocket system attacks, causing civilian casualties. The situation remains active in eastern and southern Ukraine. Key developments. North, Belarus military activity continues near the border but no signs of offensive buildup. Russia shells border settlements and lays mines. Northeast, Russia hit Rybovsky and Sumy region, over 10 settlements shelled in Chernihiv and Kharkiv regions. Kupiansk, Ukraine repelled 3 attacks near Sinkivka and Ivanivka, 15-plus settlements shelled including in Kharkiv region. Lyman, 4 Russian attacks repelled near Makivka, 10-plus Luhansk and Donetsk settlements shelled. Bakhmut, all Russian attacks repelled north of Bakhmut, 15-plus settlements shelled. Avdiivka, all attacks repelled near Avdiivka, 10-plus settlements shelled. Marinka, 13 Russian attacks repelled near Marinka and Novomikhailivka. Airstrike near Kostyantinivka. Artillery on 10-plus settlements. Zaporizhia, airstrikes near 3 settlements. 25-plus settlements shelled including Poltavka and Huliaipol. Kherson, airstrike near Berislav. Shelling of Kherson and Stanislav. Ukraine continues counteroffensives near Melitopol and Bakhmut, inflicting personnel and equipment losses. 3 Ukrainian airstrikes hit Russian troop equipment concentrations. Missile forces struck 3 artillery systems and 2 ammo depots. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Russia is reforming the Leningrad military district as part of broader military restructuring, likely aimed at countering NATO. A new decree proposes stripping the Northern Fleet of its status as an independent unit on par with a military district. This suggests the fleet and its regions will be incorporated into the reformed Leningrad district. Analysts say recreating the Leningrad district indicates preparation for potential Baltic and NATO conflicts. Russia merged it with the Moscow district in 2010 to form the Western Military District. In 2014, Russia split the Northern Fleet from the Western District and made it an equal military administrative unit starting in 2021. But in late 2022, Russia's defense minister proposed reconstituting the Moscow and Leningrad districts by splitting the Western District. By August 2023, these new districts were actively forming. The moves to redivide the Western District signify Russia sees a need to reposture against NATO, particularly on the Finnish border. However, it remains uncertain how Russia can mobilize, train, and reorganize personnel into these new formations, given its broader military struggles. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Ukraine continues counteroffensives near Bakhmut, makes marginal gains in western Zaporizhia. Russia intensifies mining near Robotyne Verbov to fix Ukrainian forces away from western Zaporizhia. Fault lines apparent between Russian regulars and DNR irregulars. Ukraine concerned about potential winter Russian drone strike campaign. Satellite imagery shows rail traffic between North Korea and Russia increased since September Putin-Kim summit. Russia disempowers some ethnic minority regions while empowering others. Russia continues offensive operations along Kupiansk-Svatov-Kremina line, near Bakhmut, Avdiivka Donetsk City, and western Donetsk. Reports indicate desertion within Russian military has increased. Reporting from Ukraine Update. Ukraine conducted missile and drone strikes on various targets across Crimea today. The strikes were more dispersed than usual, hit unconventional areas, and used lone missiles drones. Ukraine appears to be testing Russian air defenses in preparation for further strikes. In the Tokmak direction, Ukraine has increased its offensive near Kapani. Videos show Russia striking Ukrainian positions north of Kapani, while Ukraine used special forces to take out Russian TOS-1 thermobaric systems and air defense assets. Russia tried and failed multiple times in September to retake positions west of Robotyne from Ukraine. The Russian 104th Airborne Regiment could not reach Robotyne or hold positions near Kapani. Ukraine continues to make advances west of Robotyne, taking over new trenches and fortifications. Russia is using small infantry groups in its tactics. Overall, Ukraine retains the initiative in the Tokmak direction, while its strikes on Crimea aim to degrade Russian assets and test defenses ahead of further offensives. Ukraine Matters Update. Russia is now in zugzwang. Militarily, every move weakens their position. Ukraine needs to maintain constant pressure this winter to prevent Russia from regrouping. Air power in large numbers, hundreds more jets, could be a huge game-changer for Ukraine, allowing them to go on the offensive. Other key weapons needs are artillery and missiles. Russia has launched new offensives in northern Ukraine, attacking around Lyman, Siversk, and Novoselivka. Russia suffered heavy losses around Novoselivka. Fighting continues around Bakhmut. Ukraine was able to establish a foothold behind Russian lines across the railways near Bakhmut. Ukraine continues advancing west of Crimea near Bilo-Horivka. Russia is rotating forces to reinforce this area. Ukraine likely does not have the forces for a major breakthrough in the south currently. More likely potential for local collapses of the front line in the north or around Bakhmut. Ukraine continues striking targets in Crimea, forcing Russia to relocate naval assets and deploy outdated anti-air systems. This is degrading Russia's position. Russia is still getting some supplies from countries like North Korea, but is overall in a weaker position compared to Ukraine's strengthening armed forces. We are not yet at the point of imminent Russian collapse. More gradual advances, likely rather than sudden breakthroughs, need to keep expectations measured. Perrin Weekly Update. Ukraine launched a long-awaited counteroffensive in southern Ukraine in June 2022, making some initial gains but encountering fierce Russian resistance. Russia had prepared extensive defensive fortifications known as the Siversky Donets River Line with multiple layers of trenches, concrete defenses, and dense minefields. This has slowed the Ukrainian advance. Ukraine's goal is to reach the city of Kherson to cut off Russian land access to Crimea. Russia aims to bleed Ukrainian forces and hold territory. Fighting has been intense with Ukraine relying on small unit attacks rather than large mechanized assaults. Fire superiority from Western artillery like HIMARS has enabled Ukraine's gains. In the east near Bakhmut, Ukraine is on the offensive too, but Russia has maintained attacks as well. Neither side has moved the lines much despite heavy casualties. In the Black Sea and Crimea, Ukraine's strikes on Russian naval and infrastructure targets have pushed Russia's navy farther from shore. This helps Ukraine's exports. Overall, the counteroffensive has been very costly for Ukraine against prepared Russian defenses. Gains have been modest so far, but Ukraine retains the initiative. The outcome depends on which side can withstand attrition better.